Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to review Supergirl episode 13, Mr. and Mrs. Mxyzptlk. Mxyzptlk. And I think I finally got the name as close as I'm going to get it, guys. And this episode picks up from last week where we got Kara and Mon-El finally accepting their feelings for one another, trying to move on with their relationship. And then we get Mxyzptlk appearing and interrupting their moment. And he's expressing his love for Kara Zor-El. Like I was saying last week, when I saw this episode, I thought, oh, this is going to be a fun episode. And it was. I really liked this episode. It was a couple. It was a light episode. It wasn't some of the more, action-packed and, more along the lines of serious Supergirl episodes, which I usually like. But, I like this breakup in it. I thought it worked, and it worked at the right time. But we were understanding the character of Mxyzptlk a little bit, we went into this information about him. But in this episode, we got to learn a lot more about him, that he is a and I also found out that in the fifth dimension, there are a lot of other beings just like him. So the powers they possess in the fifth dimension, although they still have similar powers to what people in the third dimension or our dimension will see, in the fifth dimension, everyone can do what Mxyzptlk does. So, it's like normal for them. It's not a big deal. You can't really use your powers on other beings there, because everybody has the power. It would be like everybody would be able to fly there, or so it would be normal to them. So can't really, so much manipulate the fifth dimension like he could do the third dimension. A few other things about Mxyzptlk is he, in some comic, book explanations, they use a type of technology in the fifth dimension, and when it appears in the third dimension, it looks like magic. It looks like magical powers or reality warping, but some believe it's not really magic. It is a technology being used in the fifth dimension. Whatever it is, whether it's that or magic, Kryptonians are susceptible to the effects of Mxyzptlk. So we know that Superman and Supergirl, they can't resist magic. They can't fight against magic. It's a weakness of theirs. And that's why Kara can't really do anything about Mxyzptlk, as he appears and interrupts her and Mon-El. But, of course, Mon-El's ego, his male ego, he's getting very upset because Mxyzptlk is expressing his love for Kara. He's doing all of these magical things. You can make rings appear, flowers appear, wedding dresses appear just out of thin air. And so Mon-El tries to fight him. He's upset and jealous and doesn't want to admit it, but he tries to fight Mxyzptlk, and Mxyzptlk beams him off to the DEO in his underwear. So he can't really do anything. So everybody's in a tight spot with Mxyzptlk, and it's not much Kara can do. She's trying to dismiss Mxyzptlk, but it kind of reminds me of I can't remember the cartoon that used to come on, like the Looney Tune cartoons, but it would always be this skunk, Pepe Le Pew. That was his name, Pepe Le Pew, and he would be chasing this cat that kind of looked like a skunk, but it wasn't a skunk, it was a cat. And Pepe Le Pew was a skunk, and he would be running behind this cat, and this cat would be doing everything it could to get away from him, but he took it as the cat playing hard to get, but the cat was really trying to get away, and that's what's happening with Mxyzptlk and Kara. Kara's really trying to get away, but Mxyzptlk just thinks she's playing hard to get. It's just getting really crazy. So, this is also like taking the place of the Valentine's Day, so everybody's, basically everybody's trying to, celebrate Valentine's Day. And we also got some stuff going on with, Alex and Maggie. As last week they were progressing along with their relationship, but, we find out that Maggie hates Valentine's Day. She just really hates it, and it's bothering Alex because Alex, really loves it. That's one of the, purpose of her wanting to be in a relationship, want to celebrate Valentine's Day and have all those different experiences. And her and Maggie are kind of, they're having some issues with with that. And Alex doesn't know how to tell Maggie that she really loves Valentine's Day, so they're kind of just doing this, I'm going to just kind of keep quiet and Alex is doing, I'm just going to kind of keep quiet and see if I can make you happy, although it's making me miserable. And then we also cut the Win, and Win's having a situation at the Alien Bar. I guess Win's a regular, person who goes down there now to hang out at the Alien Bar. And two aliens, they're upset with Win because Win's ordering what they believe to be weak drinks, not manly drinks. They want him to drink. They want Win to drink, some hardcore drinks, and Win's up there ordering like club sodas and different crazy stuff like that. And so I mean, it's such a it bothers these aliens so much, that they decide they want to fight Win just over, him not ordering a strong drink. So, we get this this female alien from, and I believe the planet she comes from is called Starhaven. I'm not sure. And, she's, seems to be this very good fighter, and she comes in and she just beats these big alien guys to a pulp, and protects Win and things like that. And throughout the process, she lets Win know she wants her Valentine's date, and Win's all for it. Win's in it, so Win kind of finds him an alien girlfriend on Valentine's Day, and they're making plans, and it seems that the only person who's having a good Valentine's Day is Win. Everybody else Valentine's Day is going to crap because between Kara and Mon-El, this is also putting pressure on their relationship. With the appearance of Mxyzptlk, because apparently Mon-El has dealt with creatures like Mxyzptlk back on Daxam. He knows about them, and he's not letting them know all the information he knows about how to stop them. But Mon-El wants to kill Mxyzptlk. He's letting them know, hey, that's the easiest, the best way to deal with them is just kill them. But Supergirl doesn't kill. And so Supergirl's like, that's out of the question. We're not going to kill him. So, they go down to the DEO, and then at the DEO, we get John involved, and John also they've had some of encounters with creatures like Mxyzptlk back on Mars, and John's going over how one of them moved an entire mountain off the Martian landscape, and that they can destroy a planet. They can become a great nuisance, and so they're also going back in history. Even like our culture, human culture, they're going back in our history, and we're finding out that creatures from the fifth dimension, like Mxyzptlk, were by us confused to be like genies and things like that, you know. You know, so kind of makes sense that ancient people would mistake a character like Mxyzptlk to be like a genie, and with the things they could do with the warping reality, I'd imagine they could have granted people, you know, wishes like we've heard in the ancient stories. But anyway, you know, Kara and Mon-El, they're not in agreement on how to deal with Mxyzptlk. So we cut to the next scene where you know, a being, and I forget that being's name, that attacked Supergirl in earlier episodes. She thought she had destroyed this creature, but apparently it's back, and it's you know, it's destroying the city. And so Kara and Mon-El, they show up to try to stop this creature, and the creature is just hammering on Supergirl and Mon-El. They can't seem to stop them. And then all of a sudden, you know, the crowd looks up and they think it's Superman. They're like, hey, is that Superman? You know, Superman's coming in it. And everybody thinks it's Superman. Even Kara thinks it's Superman. And so they're, you know, so, you know, you know, we find out it's not Superman, but it's Mxyzptlk, and he has the Superman suit on, but he's changed the S, as you can see in the photo here. He's changed the S to an M for Mxyzptlk, and you know, and so he's still, you know, playing, you know, all of his reality warping games and things like that. And so you know, Mon-El's like, oh, he created all of this, you know, to then create the threat and come in and, you know, and save everybody from the threat. But, you know, he's created this, and Mxyzptlk's like admitting to everything. He's like, yeah, I created all this stuff. What's wrong with that? You know, I can do this and I can do that. I can make Kara a goddess. And so it's kind of like this competition thing going on now, you know, between Mxyzptlk and Kara. And what's upsetting Mon-El a lot is that, you know, Kara's plan to, you know, Mxyzptlk and, you know, tune a bit, you know, as far as, you know, Mon-El's taking it that way, that, you know, Mxyzptlk is pointing out some things, some flaws in Mon-El that he has, and, you know, that's a problem for him and Supergirl's relationship. So, you know, it just kind of blows up, and him and Supergirl are, you know, reconsidering if they should have dated at all. And so it seemed like Mxyzptlk's kind of got things working. And so, you know, Supergirl's like, you know, basically, you know, at this point, dismissing Mon-El. She wants him to go away, and she basically wants to deal with this thing on her own. And so she's asking, you know, Mxyzptlk, you know, what is it going to take? What does he, you know, for him to leave this planet, leave this realm, and these things and that. And Mxyzptlk's basically telling her that, you know, you're gonna have to marry me, or I'm gonna, you know, this planet's gonna have some big problems. And so he's putting, you know, Kara in this. He's made her an offer she can't seemingly refuse. So you know, Mon-El, he's not gonna give up. You know, Mon-El's back at the DEO, and they're trying to figure out some ways to, you know, to stop Mxyzptlk. Is there anything in the, in the history or the data banks that can, you know, help them? And they find some technology, some ancient, you know, devices that, you know, can take Mxyzptlk's powers, and you know, they're trying to plan a way to, you know, to use it to, you know, trick him into taking his powers and things like that. But Mon-El is impatient. He wants to kill Mxyzptlk, and so he steals one of these, you know, these devices, these that, you know, and from the DEO, and he goes out to fight Mxyzptlk on his own. And, you know, seemingly it's working at first. He's kind of using this device to, he kind of tricks Mxyzptlk a little bit, and he's kind of taking his powers away, and, you know, and so, you know, but that was pretty much kicking Mxyzptlk's butt, and, you know, Mxyzptlk's let him know, well, hey, I got a little something too, and it looks like Mxyzptlk gets in a lucky blow or something like that. He gets in a, have, you know, but Mon-El, you know, Mon-El, it doesn't too much phase Mon-El. Mon-El the best of them, but when Mon-El picks him up to kind of finish him off, apparently Mxyzptlk, even though he doesn't have any magic at that point, he's still pretty good with sleight of hand. So Mxyzptlk has managed to steal the device, you know, from Mon-El, you know, while he's, beating him up. And then he has his powers back, so he just destroys the device. And now he got, now he has, Mon-El in a bad, situation. He has him tied up. He can kill him. And Supergirl gets there, and she basically lets Mxyzptlk know that she'll marry him. Just don't harm anybody. Just leave the Earth alone. And, she says, but I want to get married on Krypton soil. And I'm thinking like Mxyzptlk is going to probably beam him back to Krypton. I'm like, are we going to see Krypton? Is he going to recreate Krypton or something like that? But she's talking about the Fortress of Solitude. So they, so the plan is to get married in the Fortress of Solitude. Mon-El, he's all upset now, and Kara's letting him know that they don't belong together, and that, that she's gonna marry him now, and that it's not gonna work out for them. And so so Mon-El's pretty much upset about that. And so we then cut to the next day at the fort, the next day, and Kara's getting ready to go to her go to the, basically what I guess you could call the wedding. But, we also get to learn that, Mon-El had always known that after the device was destroyed that could take his powers, temporarily and things like that, Mon-El had known that one way to defeat Mxyzptlk is by getting him to say his name backwards. But, he was letting them know that, Mxyzptlk isn't exactly stupid, and that he's not gonna, it's like no way he's gonna just say his, he's just gonna say his name backwards. He's not gonna do that. He's not that stupid. So, so there's like, it's gonna be impossible to get him to do that. And so Mon-El had been kind of withholding that information, and Kara was upset that he wouldn't tell them, all this, these things, because Mon-El wanted to deal with him on his own. But, we get Kara getting ready for the wedding. She's, of course, down because now she has to marry this imp, and she can't be with Mon-El, and then she's got to be, kind of stuck in this situation. So she encounters Maggie, who, Maggie's, been having this issue with the Valentine's Day thing, and so she tells Maggie that, because Maggie's looking for Alex now because she knows, that, things were bad between them with the Valentine's Day thing. And Kara tells her that, maybe you need to, take a little bit better care of Alex and, in matters like that. And so we get to find out that Maggie hates Valentine's Day, primarily because, when she came out of the closet, she wrote this letter to this girl at school for Valentine's Day. I guess she thought the girl liked her. The girl didn't like her that way. So the girl was shocked. She sent her this Valentine's Day letter expressing her feelings. She gives it to her parents, and her parents gives it to Maggie's parents. So Maggie's parents end up throwing her out of the house, for her, being in the closet and things like that, and so that's why Maggie hates Valentine's Day so much. And so her and Alex are trying to, deal with that. But, we actually get them, Alex, learning about that and them trying to work through that. So then we get Supergirl finally arriving at the fortress, and she's having a drink, and she's letting, Mxyzptlk is like, hey, where's your wedding dress? You're supposed to show up in your wedding dress like you said. What's going on? And so Supergirl's like letting them know, hey, it's not going to be a wedding. I'm never going to marry you and things like that. So Mxyzptlk is all upset. He's like, oh no, you've made a big mistake. You've tricked me. You haven't done what you said. So Mxyzptlk, we got inside the Fortress of Solitude, you got the giant ice sculptures of Zor-El, Superman's father, and his mom name escapes me for the moment. Is it Laura? I think it's Laura. But he makes the statue of Zor-El come alive, you know, and it's attacking, you know, Supergirl is destroying the fortress, and, you know, Supergirl's trying to fight back, but she can't beat him because, again, he has magical powers and things like that. So, you know, finally Supergirl goes, well, you know what? I'm going to lock down this fortress, and she locks it down, and she has it to go self-destruct. You know, it's like the fortress is able to kind of create like this nuclear blast, you know, or bomb, but it'll like contain the blast where it will like implode, you know, so it won't harm anything or anybody around. It'll just kind of implode, killing Supergirl. And I'm not sure if she can kill I've already forgot how to say his name. Mxyzptlk. I'm not sure if she could kill him in that blast. You know, at this point, he's more concerned about her dying. So I don't know, maybe he can still warp out of there. You know, but he's concerned about her. He doesn't want her to die. He's like, the world needs Supergirl. And she's like, well, I'm going to kill myself because I'd rather be dead than, you know, being forced to be with you. You know? And so he's like, you know, just stop this madness. He's like, she says, well, the only way you can stop this is you have to enter a passcode. I'm not going to tell you the passcode. He's like, you know, begging for the passcode. And she's like, okay, go ahead and put it in. She's like, push this, push that, push that. And he's pushing all the buttons to stop the nuclear, the bomb. And when he gets through pushing all the buttons, he spelled out his name backwards. And he's like, you've tricked me. You've got me to spell out my name backwards. And, you know, that can also send him back to the fifth dimension. But, you know, in a lot of the prior stories about Mxyzptlk, you know, I thought he actually had to say his name out loud. And I was like, that's going to be crazy. I'm like, how are they going to get him to say his name out loud? You know, I've seen him do it in other things, but it was real comic booky. I've never really seen it done in live action. So I was like, that's going to be weird. How are they going to get him to say that? You know, how can they confuse him to say that? But they come up with this clever way where they find out that in certain cultures, if a person spells their name backwards, it's the same as saying their names backwards. So apparently that works. You know, that works on Mxyzptlk. And, you know, he's starting to fade away. And he's like, oh, boy, you got me. So he's faded out of there. And then, you know, we just kind of close up with Supergirl, you know, going and you know, having this, you know, this closing session with Mon-El and letting him know that she pretty much lied about everything. And she lied about not being, her and Mon-El not being good together and things like that. She lied because she was trying to protect Mon-El. She know Mon-El would be a hothead and still would have been running off and got herself killed if she didn't do that. So, you know, it was all a lie, and they finally get to have their romantic moment, and that pretty much ends the episode. And I thought it was a pretty good episode. I liked this episode. I thought it was a fun episode, and I more or less, you know, personally like the more realistic, you know, episodes. But I like how they broke this in there. It worked. You know, as I was saying in earlier, you know, reviews, that one of the things I liked about the Supergirl interest into the Superman mythology and the Krypton mythology was that it seems like Supergirl encounters more of the beings outside of the Earth, and it kind of reminds me of not to compare DC and Marvel, you know, but you know, we kind of think of Marvel universe. You know, we have kind of the Avengers, and the Avengers protect Earth. They protect the Earth. And then you get something like Guardians of the Galaxy, and they're outside of the Earth, and they're, you know, in the galaxy, you know, fighting evil in the galaxy. Well, I kind of see Superman and Supergirl the same way. I kind of see Superman more dealing with a lot of, you know, villains on Earth, And I see Supergirl, she's getting to engage a lot of intergalactic, interdimensional threats and beings, and they got the DEO dealing with alien threats. So I thought that's pretty cool. I think that's what kind of draws me to Supergirl, while I like Supergirl and Superman, you know, both their shows together. And that's another reason why I think probably, you know, one complaint has been, or one concern has been, that if they put Superman on TV at the same time they have Supergirl on TV, you know, we're going to get this conflict kind of thing going, because you're going to be like, well, why do I want to watch Superman and Supergirl? But I think if they kind of tweak Supergirl to go even deeper into the intergalactic things with the DEO, and if they made it like she's fighting people that, you know, really aren't from the Earth like she's doing on the show, I think they could kind of have these separate things going on, but at the same time, I could kind of see us being burnt out by a Superman series and the Supergirl series, and then the Justice League movies and all of that. So understand, you know, where they're going from with that. So I think they're doing a good job with Supergirl. I think they should keep it up. And guys, I hope you all enjoyed this week's episode as well. Be sure and comment, talk about you know, what you think about the whole Supergirl series so far. And guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, take care.